Hello everyone. So this will be the showcase of the Fire Golem sorceress I'm currently playing. Yeah, there was a post on the Annihilus what's it called, Discord channel, and yeah, I just want to show you how I am playing this because I think it's awesome. I'm playing this in I'm currently level 92 and this is a T5 map. You can see I can just tailor around and apply my buffs, overload and time warp, and the aura of the fire golem just burns everything and they die in 1 or 2 ticks. I mainly have to hit them once and then they get burning applied to them and they just die. And it's super fast. I have ultra cast speed. I can tailor around the map like 1 or 2 seconds and I'm gone through the map. And yeah, that's how I farm maps currently. I still think there's a lot to improve. My gear is kind of bad. I will show you. After the run I will go into depth with how I build it right now, what I understand and what I don't understand. There's a lot of things that I have no idea how it's working. But yeah, this is the state of the build currently. I just got the idea because I found the wand, not the wand, the orb, Heart of Hell, and then I traded for a Trag-Oul's. That's the only thing that I bought for this build, I guess. Everything else is kind of self-farmed. And yeah, we will go into depth like what's going on after this run. Yeah, let's find the boss. I can show you the single target damage. There's the boss. So I shoot some fireballs, meteor for lower fire res, and then I blast it with more fireballs, and then the boss is dead. Yeah, I think it's gotten way better like the last couple of days. I could improve my gear quite significantly already, but I still think it's very bad. I will go through the gear in just a second. Yeah. So that's it. Are there any monsters left? Let's go through the map like real quick. There's another map. Transportation, okay. I need to clear up my filter. There's so much junk like that I don't need anymore. Okay, so that's it. Let's look at the build. Obviously the two main items I'm using are Heart of Hell and Trag-Oul's. So with my Merc I am at level 98 for my Fire Golem. You can see the tooltip here. It's 17k life and 21k fire damage, but if I use a magic skill, the tooltip goes up to 24k, which comes from chain reaction. Yeah, so let's go through the rest of the gear. I'm currently using a white shield with spirit on it. I want to improve that to a godly elite shield of whatever, so I can get a lot of defense and yeah, like a good suffix would be life or res, maybe something like that. And yeah, I want to warp that also because the implicits of warps are very, very strong. And then I want to put the Phoenix rune word on there, so minus 20 fire res in the best case. I have a +3 amulet. The main stats on here are maximum life for me, all res for me, crit chance. I am using Heavenly Garb right now, which is not as good as it used to be for me because I used a lot of consecration. You get 5% life every second from consecration. So if you spam it on the ground, especially against harder bosses, it's very nice because the golem, as you saw, has 17k life, so 5% of its life are quite significant. That's also why I'm using a prayer merc for 6% life gain per second. Also very nice. I myself have 4.5k life. Yeah, but let's finish with the gear. So Heavenly Garb, yeah. Consecration is nice. Redemption Aura is very nice. I could up this to an Archon plate. I'm still thinking about that. I don't know. I warped it. It has cast speed. That's like you don't need it, but it's a nice to have, I guess. Immune to Condemn, also probably good. I don't know if I could die to Condemn at this point. I have no idea. So yeah, I want to upgrade this to the Asmodan chest. I still need to farm this or to buy it maybe. I am using Hysteria, which gives a lot of cast speed, a lot of movement speed. Yeah, for Cruci I would probably change to the Rune Word, which gives -10 to all res. So this also makes me a lot squishier because the Hysteria debuff, it gives 60 run speed, 60 cast speed, 60 hit recovery, but also 30% increased damage taken, which also applies, like I think 15% applies to the golem and stuff itself. But yeah, that's with the snapshotting and stuff. I don't really know how attack and cast speed and stuff like this applies to the golem, because minions inherit your stats somehow. I don't really know how it works. That's why I'm pre-casting Time Warp and Overload, and then I'm summoning my golem. And yeah, so I don't know if this buff applies to the golem, and then the golem also gets the buff again. So I don't know how that works. Yeah. Um, but this makes me really fast. So for farming, Hysteria is very nice. The rings are Band of Sin. I just recently got this one. It's -5 to all enemy resistances, which is super strong. Yeah. I don't know what Sin Beam does, honestly. No idea. So the good stats on here are +2 all, 6000 defense, very nice. -5 all res. Yeah. So could be way better. I have -5, it could be -10, so I have to upgrade this as well. Or maybe I could divine this, honestly. Yeah, I will do that. Okay, yeah, Terra Flare. I have a -15 one, which is very nice. Farmed this myself. The belt is just +3 summon and 20 ele damage, which also applies to the golem. So this could be improved a lot. It's just those two stats that are kind of nice here. I have a +2 summon ring with crit. So I went crit, but from all the other gear upgrades I got, the crit is kind of low right now. I'm at 47%. And we will look at the tree, and you can see my reasoning there. But yeah, I want this to be a crit build, so I could get 10% more on my amulet. I could get a 10% implicit on the Band of Sin. This is the best in slot ring, but with a better implicit. I could get implicit on Hysteria, implicit on the shield, and I could get better boots. So I will have to look at that, but you can get like 80-90% kind of easily, I guess. I will have to improve my gear, as I said. Yeah, I'm using Tear Haunch, which gives a lot of area of effect. And that's the only stat that's really good here. I mean, all res is nice. There is no warped implicit here. Oh, I have +1 fire res, yeah. +1 fire res as an implicit. And the rest is just all res, defense is okay, a little bit of run speed. Rare boots could be way better, but all the good rare boots that I crafted, I tried to warp them and they got destroyed. So yeah, that's why I also have still rare boots on my filter, and I need to find better ones. Yeah, Tear Haunch, it's nice for the 30% area, but that's about it. Yeah, so that's the gear. Trag-Ouls. I have a plus 16 one, could also be better. You can reach, if you have a plus 21, it's super easy to reach level 99 on your fire golem, and then you can yeah, relieves a lot of pressure from the rest of the gear, so you don't need as much plus summoning skills. Also, levels aren't that good, I learned, so other stats might just be more important than to get plus to skills. Yeah. Okay, so jewels are a big part of the build, I learned. I want to have, so this for example is a bad jewel. I want to have elemental damage, auras, and probably minion life. So the minion, golem gets way more tankier with percent life, and I need that. So that's mainly the stat. So every jewel I find with, oh, this is, I don't need this one, but I try to find auras and elemental damage. And then of course life is nice, other resists are nice, minion damage is nice, minion life is nice, but auras and elemental damage, those are the two main sets. I have it on almost all of my jewels, I say, as I don't find any. But still, I also have bad rolls like this one. Plus 6 all res, 1% elemental damage, but also minion damage. Elemental damage gets doubled from Trag-Ouls, so you have Fire Golem receives 200% of your increased elemental damage, so that's why elemental damage is way better than minion damage. Yeah, I tried to play around with Molten Breath, so you can get Venom as a rune word on your weapon and just cast it super quick, but it just shoots out like fireballs that are piercing, and I think they are applying burn 100%. I'm not sure. They do a lot of damage, but the proc rate of 20% is still too low. It's not worth it. It's more DPS to use fireball. We will go through the tree in just a second. Yeah, rune words I'm using. Lore on the helmet. I don't know. Could be, maybe it's something else is better, I don't know. Heart of the Oak, probably also there's something better. I'm using Spirit right now on my shield. I want to use the Phoenix shield, as I said. I am using Smoke on my Mage Plate, on my Heavenly Garb. I want to use Stone there to get as much defense as possible. No rune word on the gloves. I don't know if is there a rune word for belts. I don't think so, but I'm also not using one. And also no rune word on the on my boots. So I would say this is still quite budget. I don't have any like super expensive stuff that I couldn't farm myself. Yeah. So that's the gear. Did I miss something? Yeah, maybe Annihilus. I'm using the what's it called? Baal's Soul, Greater Soul for minion damage and minion life. Okay, so that's the gear. Yeah, let's look at the stats. I still have 10 points unused. I may have to get a little bit more strength. That's why I'm keeping those for now. But strength until you can wear all your gear, and the rest in vitality. That's how I build it at the moment. I have 4.5k life myself, and 20% of that damage of vitality increases your elemental damage. So it's almost as good as energy. Energy is 25%, I guess. Increase your elemental damage by 21%. Yeah, that's also 20%. Is it? No, it's 25%. Yeah, 25%. Yeah. So I just needed this for tankiness because I'm reserving my life as you my mana, as you can see. You're using blood magic with Heart of Hell anyways, so I just thought it's the obvious thing to do. Just stack vitality as much as possible. Yeah, so those are the stats. Let's look at the tree real quick. I maxed Ice Armor, Enchant, 1 point in Infuse Cold and 1 point in Infuse Fire. overcharge max, overload 1 point, and the rest of the points infuse lightning. When you apply all the other stuff, I have 1 point in each of those. You don't need evocation, you don't need energy shield, you can use it for 130 life, so to say, but yeah, I mostly forget to even activate that, so I don't know. Yeah, Time Warp I'm using, Presence of Mind gives a little bit of damage. I'm also not sure how snapshotting works here, so if it makes sense to summon the golem when you don't have all your buffs applied, so you have more mana, then you would get the full buff of 38% at the moment. I activate the auras first and then I summon my golem, so yeah, I don't know. The tooltip goes up and down from using this, but I'm not sure how that works. Teleport 1 point, obviously. Yeah, and then I have fire spells. You don't need to use Firewall or Hydra, those are bad. I just took 1 point in each just to test them. But I am maxing Fireball and I'm using Meteor. So you shoot, you try to keep your buffs up, then you shoot machine gun style fireballs, and if you hit once, you apply 1 Meteor, because the Meteor will give minus 22 fire resistance. Will apply minus 22 fire resistance. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm shooting fireballs, 1 Meteor, and then shooting fireballs again. That's my single target rotation. Yeah. So that's the tree, the skills. I mean, and the tree is like this. As much vitality as possible. I also went for elemental Aegis. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but I have 27% chance to block. It was 30 yesterday. I'm not sure why it's lower right now. I don't know. But yeah, elemental Aegis, 27% block, 25% block, whatever, for physical and elemental stuff. It's kind of nice. Then I went up to blood magic. We already have blood magic, but 25% increased damage is still nice. So yeah, I'm using this. I'm going over the potion cooldown stuff, and then going over to Saboteur. 30% increased damage against enemies affected by any ailment. So they are almost always burning, so this applies always. Yeah, inflicting ailments, as I said, is kinda nice. It inflicts burn from the aura from the fire golem, which helps clear a lot. Yeah, then I'm going over this side. There's a little bit of elemental damage here. Area of effect. I'm using calculated risk for 50% increased area of effect. It applies to the golem, I guess. Yeah, I try to get as much area of effect as possible, and this applies to the golem, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it does. I'm also using Agony. Like I said, I try to get as much crit as possible. And there's also the stat 25% increased damage against enemies affected by an ailment. So there's a lot of damage again coming from this. Yeah. Also the notes that are leading to this are kind of nice. And then we're going over here. The Fire Leech. From what I've seen, it works for me. So the golem does fire damage and I am leeching the life. I don't know. It seems to work like this. I'm not sure. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, I guess it's working like this. And then I'm going down here to chain reaction. As I said, I'm using a lot of magic skills. So when you're using like teleport, you will get this chain reaction buff, which gives you 50% increased fire damage. And yeah, same work like when I'm pre-casting, you can see when the buff is gone, I have 21k fire damage for my golem. I am pre-casting Time Warp and Overload, which are also... Oh, I see, Overload is a magic, an elemental. Yeah, but I'm still getting plus fire damage from that. Okay, yeah. So I'm using those two, and then I'm casting my fire golem, which then has... You just saw it. It has almost 25k with the buff up and 21k without. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. A lot to improve still, but yeah. I guess I will upload maybe a Cruci run later. I killed the level 40 boss like once or twice, and yeah, but that was with worth gear. Should be way more consistent now, but level 50, I know it's a whole different thing, but I hope with some improvements I can maybe do level 50 also. I've never done it before. I'm also just playing this mod for like 2 weeks now. It's very nice. I have a lot of fun, and yeah, I love the build. So if you have any ideas, if you know how stuff is working, please comment and help me improve this build. Bye. Peace.